What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 188 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. In this episode, it started off with a flashback of Kawaki fighting Garugo as a kid, and this was a nice touch. This wasn't in the manga, but it was. Kawaki did mention in the manga when he basically, like at the end of the episode, how he told Garuga he's gonna, destroy more than his chin this time. Yeah, he was referencing the time when he fought Garuga as a kid, but we never seen that in the manga. So this was a nice touch. Basically, at first I was kind of like wondering why the inners was just letting the outer, interact with the vessel, because the vessel is the centerpiece of their goal, their most valuable possession. And, the vessel is, they refer to Kawaki as the vessel. And apparently it seemed like, Kashi and Koji just pretty much wanted to see what would happen. And, Kashi and Koji, just like how he was in this episode, he kind of just lets Kawaki do stuff to just like kind of see what's happening. But, Amato and Jigen, I thought those two were the main ones who were dealing with Kawaki, because Victor couldn't even get a hold of Kawaki. Like, he had to sneak a bug. It looked like a scientific ninja to a bug to try to get some data on Kawaki, because he couldn't get to Kawaki. But I think that's because I think that's because Kawaki was in a different phase of their plan. I believe they called it phase 3. But yeah, so Kawaki, it seemed like, I don't know if he escaped from his room or whatever, and they just let him kind of roam around because they wanted to see like what would happen if he got, put up against the outer. But I'm assuming that's what the situation was. Amato was probably in charge of watching Kawaki, or Amato and Kashi and Koji, and they pretty much just let him roam around because they knew Garuga was there, and they wanted to see if the treatment worked on him, because as Amato said, he did get treated. He got some treatment, and that's, basically his treatment was him getting, the scientific ninja tool weaponry implanted into him, getting his body modifications. So that's what happened at the start of the episode. Yeah, I think it was cool that they went ahead and added that in there and showed us what Kawaki was referring to in the manga. That was cool. And this was the first time, apparently, that Kawaki used the karma seal, because Kashi and Koji was, pretty shocked by it. Or, not necessarily shocked, but I guess happy that he finally did it for the first time. One thing I found weird about this scene was, it was Kashi and Koji and Amato. Those were the only two inner core members there. And us manga readers, we know what was going on with those two. But it just seemed pretty weird to me that Amato said that the car is going to, basically, what he said, the car is gonna, has finally taken over or whatever, or he's about to take over. That line seemed kind of weird to me, considering what we know from the manga. But anyways, that's all I'll say about that. And yeah, so then we got, Amato actually said the world will kneel before Korra. That line was weird, kind of weird to me. And manga readers, you obviously know why, because Kashi and Koji and Amato was there, and Amato seemed really happy at seeing Kawaki use the karma seal for the first time, and he was like, the world will kneel before the Korra. Like I said, that line seemed kind of weird to me. But anyways, so then we got the scene from the manga with Delta talking to Jigen, and she was basically concerned about the vessel, and she was wondering why Jigen wasn't as concerned about, what Kashi and Koji was doing and about the vessel, and why Kashi and Koji was taking too long. And Jigen pretty much said, you can go and see what's going on yourself if you really want to. But, just know that Kashin Koji is basically in charge of the mission. So she was happy about that, and she ended up leaving. And we also got that scene where Delta broke the table, and then Jigen made a new table. That was, manga readers, we know what that ability is. But, yeah, and then we got an added scene with Amato. With, Jigen tell Amato, don't let anybody come near him for a while. I don't know exactly why he said that, but I got an idea of why he said that. Anyways, then Delta, she went to get Gorgo, and yeah, she recruited him to basically go capture Kawaki. And I think that's cool because in the manga, he just came out of nowhere. We knew he was an outer, but we didn't know exactly who, sent him there, I don't think. So, yeah, it's cool that Delta, she has her own outer core member. Just like how Victor had his own outers. And how Kashin Koji, he had his own outer, which was Ayo. And the reason why she wanted him to go do it is because, the outers are weaker. And her going to capture Kawaki, while it would be easier, she would have to, restrain herself a lot more because she's way too strong for Kawaki to deal with. So she recruited an outer to take him by force. We then, we seen the Hidden Leaf Village Shinobi, Team 7, approach Kawaki. And right before Kawaki woke up, we got the scene from the manga where Jigen was talking to his father right before he purchased Kawaki. Now, in this scene, the anime actually cut out some dialogue from Kawaki's father that actually gives us some context as to what was going on in Kawaki's life before he ended up getting purchased by Jigen and before he ended up becoming the vessel of Korra. And I'm actually very kind of annoyed that they took out some of the dialogue from Kawaki's father because, like I just said, it gave us some context as to what Kawaki's life experiences was before he ended up being purchased by Jigen and ended up becoming the vessel of Korra. Now, they they probably will go back to this flashback. I don't know. I forgot if they revisited this flashback in the manga. I think they only went to this flashback one time when they showed Kawaki's father and they showed Jigen purchasing him. So I don't know if the anime will revisit this flashback and, show us that dialogue and, put that dialogue in there that they cut out. But I think it was very, very stupid for them to cut that out. Because essentially what the dialogue was, it was pretty small, but basically it was Kawaki's father saying, yeah, you can buy this guy. He was referring to his son. He was basically saying, yeah, you can buy my son. All he's useful for is a punching bag anyways. And yeah, so that, that adds a lot of context into Kawaki's childhood. And that shows that Kawaki, even before joining Korra, he was abused by his own father. Just like how he was eventually abused by the Korra. So it just, adds that extra layer of backstory to his character. And, it shows that he's never really had a good life. And, it basically explains his actions and why he doesn't trust people. Just like in this episode, when he was talking to Team 7 and they said, we're Konoha Shinobi, he was like, on what grounds should I trust you? Because he don't trust anybody. He don't care if they're Konoha Shinobi or not. He don't trust anybody. And for those of you, it might be some anime onlys who are wondering, like, why would he think they were from Korra when they had Hidden Leaf Village headbands on? And the reason is very obvious, but for anime onlys, they're still new to Kawaki, so I'll just go ahead and explain it. Kawaki has never been to any of the 5 great ninja villages. Like, he doesn't really know that much about the shinobi world. He was abused by his father during his childhood. He was like off, he never lived in any of the 5 great ninja nations. He was kind of like off on the outskirts, probably in one of those smaller ninja villages. Not ninja villages, but he was outside of the ninja world pretty much, and he was purchased by Jigen, and he was pretty much in Korra his whole life after he was purchased by Jigen. So he doesn't really know that much about, the other villages in the 5 great ninja nations and etc. So yeah, and Boruto asked him, about the seal on his hand. He said, "You have the same seal as me." And then he's like, "How do you have the karma?" And he was like, "You guys are trackers from the core, so you lied to me." And Konohamaru was, basically saying that how we have to take you, we gotta take you into custody and stuff like that. And Kawaki was like, "So basically, you guys do want to die? Come at me." I mean, well, first he asked them to leave him alone, and that's understandable because Kawaki, us manga readers, we already know, in the anime onlys, you guys will soon find out that Kawaki, he doesn't like being. I mean, you guys can clearly tell from his backstory. He went from being with his abusive father, who abused him, and then he went to being with Jigen and the core, who also abused him, and basically, trapped him, in their organization and in their places, their facilities and stuff like that. You know, he couldn't, like, he was never really free. So now that he's finally free, he wants to be left alone. He don't want to go off and be taken into custody by people who he don't even know. And like I said earlier, he doesn't even know Hidden Leaf Shinobi. So he doesn't really care about, he don't want to be taken into custody. He just want to be left alone. And that's very understandable considering his backstory, which we will get a lot more of his backstory, in the future. And then, Delta showed up and she basically asked Kashi and Koji, why was he taking so long? And then she was pretty shocked at the fact that Boruto had a karma seal. And she was like, how does he have karma? And, that's when the guy showed up, the outer. And Kawaki was like, yeah, I'm going to take, this time I'm going to destroy more of your chin or something like that. And yeah, and then he attacked. So, and his body modifications was actually gray, like how it is in the opening, as opposed to how it was in the trailer, where it was like black and had like a red outline to it, like kind of looked like it was like lava a little bit. But yeah, I was expecting to see the fight in this episode, because Kawaki, he actually does have a pretty prolonged fight with the outer. However, we didn't see that. And I believe in the manga chapter, it was either chapter 23 or chapter 24. I think it was chapter 24. But when we first seen, like, we got a little bit of Kawaki's flashback when his father, sold him to Jigen. And then right after that, Kawaki woke up. And then we got a full fight with him in that outer. But in this episode, they added in a lot of fluff. I mean, I think we did. I mean, we did get the Delta conversation, Delta and Jigen talking. But that was the only other scene that was in that chapter, I believe. But in the anime, they added in that scene with Kawaki as a kid at the beginning of the episode when he fought that outer for the first time. Well, it wasn't really necessarily a fight. It was just like he pretty much just like destroyed that outer's chin when he was trying to, restrain him or whatever. But in this episode, they added in a lot of scenes. Well, they added in a couple scenes. But yeah, I was expecting to get the fight in this episode. Unfortunately, we didn't get the fight. But I think it is a good thing that they added in a lot of that context and added in a lot of detail and showed us some of the stuff that was, talked about in the manga but wasn't shown, such as Kawaki's first interaction with that outer. And yeah, I think that was cool. They added in, once again, adding in more deep detail and depth from the manga. But I am, like I said, I am kind of annoyed that they took out that line from Kawaki's father. Now, even without that line, you can still tell that Kawaki was abused or, at least mistreated, either abused or neglected, or, just wasn't treated properly, because he was laying on the floor when his father, sold him to Jigen. He was laying on the floor. So you can already tell, even without any extra dialogue from Kawaki's father, you can already tell that Kawaki was mistreated as a kid by his own father. But I think adding in that dialogue from his father would have been nice. And like I said, they probably will go back and add some of that in the future if they ever do revisit that specific flashback, that specific part of Kawaki's life. However, overall, I think the episode was fantastic. The story of the episode was fantastic. 10 out of 10 yet again. Boruto has been on a roll literally since last year. We haven't gotten any like the story has been, I mean, Boruto's always been great. You know, anime and manga, Boruto's always been great. And I'm probably going to do a whole video about that. But specifically, ever since we started the car actuation arc, which led into the vessel arc that we're currently in, Boruto has been basically nonstop, you know, delivering 10 out of 10 episodes when it comes to story. We have gotten some bad artwork here and there, but in a couple of episodes, we have gotten some bad artwork. But in terms of story, Boruto has been on a roll, consistently delivering 10 out of 10 amazing stories in each episode. And, you know, obviously the story is connected, but the story has been flowing super great. And it's been flowing super great ever since the car actuation started. The car actuation arc started. It's been flowing super great. 10 out of 10 in terms of how they've been delivering the story and how they've been adding in more detail and depth to the story from the manga that they're adapting into the anime. And it's just overall fantastic. And this was the episode I personally was waiting for. You know, last week was basically, I mean, we did see Kawaki before last week's episode, but last week's episode was the first time that, you know, the Team 7 saw him, and that was cool. But me specifically, I was looking forward to this episode, the episode where Kawaki actually wakes up and he actually starts interacting with Team 7. And I've been looking forward to this episode ever since this stuff happened in the manga, all the way back in, like, I believe it was 2017, which, you know, that's when that Boruto anime first started, all the way back in 2017. But that's when Kawaki first appeared in the manga. So, or actually, no, was that 2018 when he first appeared? Yeah, it was I think it was 2018 when he first appeared. It was either late 2017 or yeah, I actually think it was early 2018. But anyways, yeah, I've been waiting for years. Us manga readers, we've been waiting for years to see Kawaki finally in the anime, and it feels like Kawaki has finally arrived in the Boruto anime. And from here on out, I believe the Boruto anime is going to be fantastic. As long as Studio Period makes sure that they minimize outsourcing the Boruto anime, and they make sure they work on Boruto anime as much as possible in their own studio and not outsource it so much. And as long as they keep the artwork and animation quality at a high level, then this stuff is going to be fantastic. Now, you know, we're probably still going to get episodes that do have a little bit, you know, I mean, that doesn't have, you know, top tier art and animation quality. We're probably still going to get those episodes because Boruto's a weekly anime. They outsource it to other studios, you know, so unfortunately, that's probably still going to be the case. Now, as far as in this episode, the artwork, I'll say, was a 9. And the animation, I'll say, was I'll say a 10 out of 10 for the animation. Artwork was a 9. And when I say 10 out of 10, I mean that the animation was good. Like, I didn't notice any problems with it. I'm not saying it's like the best animation we ever got in Boruto, because obviously it's anywhere near the best animation we got in Boruto, which I'll probably say is still episode 65, where it was Sasuke and Naruto versus Momoshiki. That's probably still the best. Yeah, I'll probably say that's the best animation we've gotten in Boruto, hands down. But for what it was good. I didn't notice any problems with it, so I think they delivered on that aspect. But the artwork was, it was some scenes where I think they could have drastically improved the artwork. Like, for example, with that, you know, with those Roman numerals on the side of Kawaki's face, those looked weird throughout the episode. I mean, some parts of the episode, it looked good, and then some parts it just looked like way too thick and like way too, you know, not how it's supposed to look, basically. But anyways, yeah, so 9 out of 10 for the art, 10 out of 10 for the animation, and 10 out of 10 for the story. This was another fantastic episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Overall, 10 out of 10, because obviously the story is the most important part. And yeah, one weird thing about the preview is literally it was no movement in the preview. They pretty much just showed, you know, all the characters in just like one picture, and it was no movement, no animation at all. And then Kawaki's seal turned red. Now, for anybody who might be over exaggerating at the preview, here's what I gotta say about the preview. If you guys remember remember back in like 2016 when Naruto Shippuden was going on, do you guys remember that we got that preview right before Naruto and Sasuke right before Naruto versus Sasuke part 2? We got that preview for that episode, and it was just all white. It was all black and white, like it was a manga. Like they were like basically the preview had no color to it. It was all black and white, and it was animated, I believe, but it was all black and white. And a lot of people were over exaggerating, like, bro, are they gonna do the final fight with just black and white? Like this a manga panel or something? Like this a manga page? Are they really gonna do the fight like that and have no color to it? And then once we got the episode, which was like 2 weeks later, they actually gave us 2 episodes, and then they had it. The art and animation looked great, and they had color to it. Now, in this case, we're not gonna get a break, because I'm pretty sure we are gonna be getting an episode next week. I haven't heard of any breaks, so it's not the exact same scenario. But all I'm saying is, don't over exaggerate at the preview, because the episode will. I mean, we have gotten weird looking previews before, and the episodes end up looking actually good and delivering, because maybe this is a sign that Studio Period just, they don't want to showcase what they have in store, because we are going to be getting a fight next week, and they possibly could have some fantastic art and animation, and they possibly just don't want to spoil that, and they possibly just want us to, wait until next week to fully see that. Or they could just still be working on it because they're putting the final touches on it. I don't know. But anyways, with all that being said, that's all I got to say for this episode. Yeah, another fantastic episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generation. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode and of my review down in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, please drop a like. And click that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Every promise I've been praying for.